It is time to breathe again on the Breath of Fresh Air webcast on YouTube and Facebook. Patrick, you stayed quiet. I guess maybe it's because you was messing with your eye, but you
I'm getting blurry spots in my eyes, man. Like they're everywhere. But then again, I did just wake up, so
great timing. Well, so you see me, Charles. Of course, I got Patrick with me for this webcast, and we we have some let's have some a few things to discuss. So, Patrick, let's start with the fallout from the NFL draft. Now, I did a shorty on what my team, the San Francisco 49ers, did yesterday in or on Monday in taking Trey Lance, the quarterback out of North Dakota State. I personally like the pick because I think Trey Lance might have the most upside out of everybody. Like to me, he's probably the rawest product there was out of the quarterbacks. And so if he can come into the system, we discussed numerous times about what they have in San Francisco with the offense and the play calling of Kyle Shanahan, and you still have Jimmy Garoppolo there. If the plan is correct from what Shanahan and the general manager John Lynch is saying, Trey Lance can come in there and sit down and learn. And by the way, Patrick, there's nothing wrong with the quarterback sitting down and learning. Which
absolutely
he
not. You know how I feel about that.
yes, exactly. And so everybody says, well, you don't drop them that high to sit. And I get it. I understand where people are coming from with that. If you have a high draft choice, you select somebody, you're expecting them to play right away. But in this case, it's okay. Look, he can grow because I know personally, I don't think Trey Lance is ready to come right in there and start right away. I mean, for one, he hasn't played in 2 seasons, really. He's played like one game in 2 seasons. And so, and so let him come in there. He's raw. Get get a little bit of learning under his belt. If Jimmy G excuse me, if Jimmy G can stay healthy, then the better he'll be off for it because he can continue to grow. He could be on the practice squad. He can run the practice squad, and then when it is time for him to come in, then he'll be ready. But yeah, from that standpoint, I like the pick. So what I want to get from you, Patrick, is how do you feel about the Falcons draft?
Well, before I get started on the Falcons draft, I do want to say this. Last week, I said not many quarterbacks are going to be successful, right? Okay. I'm going to tell you something about Trevor Lawrence. There's your least successful quarterback because unless this dude wins every single game for the rest of his life, he's about to experience his first loss. He hasn't lost in high school, hasn't lost in college, and unless the Jaguars plan on going 17-0,
Patrick, he lost. Patrick, he lost twice in college. He did lose twice.
He did lose twice.
Yes, LSU beat him in the national championship game in 2019, and the year after, Ohio State knocked him out. Remember?
Well, regular season, but yes, I do.
No, remember. That was in the playoff.
I'm saying regular season game.
Oh, okay, I got you.
I had to cover myself up. No, but unless he's ready to go, let's put it this way: he hasn't had a losing season in his entire life.
It is true.
Until next year, and he's about to experience losses in bulks. Anyway, Atlanta. I didn't look past the second round for Atlanta. So let me look at Atlanta real quick. Let me see what they got. I'm not crying at all. Not crying at all. They addressed what they needed. I mean, they went out and got Kyle Pitts, which I saw the Kyle Pitts and I saw the Richie Grant pickup, and I was good with that. But I didn't see that they got a tackle, a corner, a center, defensive tackle, defensive end, another corner, and went and got a wide receiver. I'm not mad. I'm not mad. I was suspecting, Kyle Pitts is an interesting pick for Atlanta, and I say this because I really wasn't expecting them to go tight end. I was expecting them to go probably somewhere on the defensive side, which I was hoping that they would go with Devontae Smith, but they, obviously they didn't. But picking up Kyle Pitts is very interesting because that is two crazy tight ends to have for Matt Ryan, plus the 3 wide receivers that they have. That was a very interesting pick. And after they picked him up, I was like, okay, I can see that. Now they got to address their defense, which it looks like they have with all of those. Picking up Taquan Graham from Texas, I was excited to see that. I was very because I was excited to see that. But I mean, I'm not mad with the draft. They picked up everything they needed to pick up and went and grabbed a few offense just to make sure they sure that up. But I think a few trades for Atlanta and before the season starts, I think they'll be fine.
So what I think, particularly with the Kyle Pitts pick, what they were saying to that, well, number one, they were taking the best player available. Definitely at that time, and then of course, we felt like Kyle Pitts was like the second best player anyway in the draft. So nothing wrong with that. It's one of those things where if you have a player like that, you take them. It's just kind of one of those things. Man, that's the best available. We'll find a way to match them in there. So definitely not upset about Atlanta taking that pick. In terms of the needs, they probably didn't need Kyle Pitts, of course, and we talked about it. They needed to probably address the defense, but I mean, like you said, in those later picks, they did address the defense. So the main thing I took from them getting Kyle Pitts, especially, was we have Matt Ryan for about a good year or two of him playing at his peak level. We're trying to take advantage of that and give this man as many weapons as possible to see what he can do. And I look at the division you guys are in. Look, we know Tampa Bay, they're going to be the favorites. They brought everybody back from their Super Bowl winning team. We don't know what exactly to expect from the Saints, just simply because we'll see what they do with the quarterback situation. Is it going to be Jameis Winston or Taysom Hill? And they lost a few people on defense as well. And I don't know if they did a good job of addressing those needs. I think they did all right, but I feel like they could have did better with their draft. Now, the Carolina Panthers, they're interesting to me. Like, I feel like Carolina picking up J.C. Horn, the corner that you said that you wanted. They picked him up at number 8, and then drafting Terrace Marshall, the receiver out of LSU. That gives them that third receiver with Robbie Anderson and DJ Moore, and that replaces Curtis Samuel, who went to the WTFs. And then they did nothing but defense last year's draft. Carolina is interesting to me. And I think as long as they can get a good showing from Sam Darnold at the quarterback spot, Carolina, I think, can make some noise. As it was, they were in a lot of those games with Teddy Bridgewater playing quarterback.
You know what's interesting about the pickup with J.C. Horn?
Is that?
That is I was thinking that, because even in the webcast, I said, I was like, this kid's probably going to go late first round, early second round, because they're going to pass this kid up and not even know what they're passing up. And then Carolina picks him up in the 8th pick. I'm super surprised. One, but at the same time, super proud for this kid because I thought he was a sleeper. I didn't think anybody. I thought everybody was sleeping on him because nobody's talking about him, and Carolina picked him up. Hey, Carolina must be watching our webcast. High five, Carolina. High five.
So look, I'll give some props to my dad on this, Patrick, because my dad told me he felt like Horn was the best corner in the draft. I felt like it was Patrick Surtain, and I think you felt like it was Patrick Surtain too.
But Jason was right there with him. I mean,
it was pretty close.
He was asleep. I thought he was a sleeper.
But my dad said he likes the way Horn is physical. He gets in your face. He scraps with you. He'll battle the receivers, and he's a very good tackler in run support. And so when I knew from what you said and taking what my dad had said, seeing him being drafted by Carolina, I wasn't as surprised as I might have been even a few days before the draft. And with Carolina getting that, man, that shores up the secondary pretty well. That's why I said, man, Carolina to me is an interesting team. Like, I would not be surprised if they came up on 10 wins. I wouldn't be surprised. Because I think last year I forget what their record was last year. I think they won 6 or 7 games. So if you could, more than welcome to fact check me, of course. But but I think they won 6 or 7 games last year, and they were in a lot of those games. They had a lot of one-score losses. I know off the top of my head, they lost by a point to Minnesota. They lost by, I think, 2 points to Kansas City, and they were in a battle with Tampa Bay. Well, the first game, the second game, Tampa Bay murked them, but Carolina was in a lot of one-score games.
5-11.
5-11. All right, I gave them too much credit. So
but only 2 games credit. But no, but I mean, like you said, they were in a lot of those games, and you have to give Carolina credit for being 5-11. The fact that they had a lot of people sitting out due to COVID. I mean, you can't make the argument for Atlanta. Everybody came back, and they still went 4-12. The defense sucked, dude.
And
Atlanta starters were there for Atlanta, so
yeah, and Atlanta will be interesting too because you got a new coaching staff, you have a new general manager. So, and it looks like they are solely behind Matt Ryan. I think probably next year they'll make a draft choice to get a quarterback. To make sure that they have that part kind of situated for the future. But this year, they're saying, let's get this man all the weapons possible, and let's see if we can win games 40-37. Yes.
Exactly what they're saying. I was going to say more like 45-44. But no, I mean, that's making for a very interesting division. Tampa being the heavy favors, Atlanta having the offense that they're fixing to put on the field, and Carolina putting the defense they're fixing to put on the field. It makes for a very interesting division. And, and a lot of people are like, well, my personal opinion, the most interesting division that I'm thinking due to the draft and everybody coming back and I'm thinking the AFC East is going to be very interesting.
Yeah, I still like Buffalo there. New England should be better, much improved, I think. And Miami with the draft picks they have. The Jets, nah, man, I'm going to wait for the Jets. But
don't hold your breath. But the first 3 teams you talked about, they're going to be interesting. I think the AFC East and the NFC South is going to be the 2 most interesting divisions because you pretty much know what to expect from the other 6 divisions. But those 2, I think they're going to be very interesting.
I'm going with my division. That's the toughest, Patrick. We have us. We got the Rams. We have the Cardinals and the Seahawks. That division is going to be
war, I'm not saying anything about that. That is the toughest defense. interesting, or that's the toughest division. The most interesting division is the AFC East and the NFC South. The rest of them, we pretty much know what they're bringing.
You know another one that can actually be interesting though.
If you say the NFC East, bro, we're cutting this.
Yes.
No.
Yes.
That's not interesting.
Why not?
Because the best team was 7-9.
Stop. Let's stop. Let's not go back to last year, Patrick. Let's look ahead here. Right? We're looking ahead. We're looking ahead. We're looking ahead. I don't think 7-9 is winning that division this year.
Probably we'll say 7-10 wins that division.
No, I think those teams. Okay, what the Fs and and the New York Giants, I think, are going to be better teams this year. Dallas is Dallas. They'll be around 8-9, 9-8, like normal. They'll be average. I don't care what Dallas does. They're gonna be average.
Well, hold on. What division outside the East does the East play?
That's a good question. I don't know off the top of my head. I know last year they played the AFC. Was it? No. Take it back. They played the AFC North. Yeah, they played the AFC North last year. So
there's a good chance.
I think they played the West. Yeah, they played the West this year.
So they'll play the West. Yeah, because they go counterclockwise, right? They go northwest, southeast.
Yeah, so I think they played West. So that means they're playing Kansas City. So there's Kansas City, Denver,
and Denver.
Yeah.
No, bro, they ain't no 9-8.
But are the West teams that good though? Besides yeah, I think they could be those teams in the West. Because you don't know what you're going to get with the Chargers. It's the Chargers. The Chargers shouldn't even be where they're at. The Chargers should be somewhere else, like in Canada somewhere. They'll probably go to Canada next year.
They'll be London's team.
Yeah, and the Raiders. They probably won't be in Vegas next year. The Raiders will probably be in Hawaii.
That's actually true. If Raiders go to Hawaii, I might become a Raiders fan and move to Hawaii.
So I think they're interesting. The AFC West, we know most likely Kansas City is. I mean, they're by far the team to beat.
Kansas City wins that division, hands down.
Yeah, but to me, Patrick, it's not like Kansas City is so much better than them. To me, I just don't trust any of those other teams.
No, those teams suck more than Kansas City. No, Kansas City went 14-2, and literally, 2, 4, 6, 8 of those wins were almost handed to them by default.
Because the Raiders and Chargers, both of them find spectacular ways to lose games. Like they are great at taking defeat from the jaws of victory. And
so is the Dallas Cowboys, and so is the Philadelphia Eagles.
Yeah,
well,
all right.
I take that back because you might be right. I think Philadelphia might be something to deal with because you're probably going to start Jalen Hurts there, and you got Devontae Smith, and you got the other cat. What's his name? The other wide receiver.
Jalen Reagor. Hey, all I'm saying is
that is actually something to think about.
That's all I'm saying. I'm not saying the winner of that team is going to get home field advantage, or the winner of that division is going to get home field advantage through the playoffs. I'm just saying it's going to be interesting to see.
Regardless of the situation, you know that division will get a playoff player. That's all you're saying.
I would still pick what the Fs. Look, I'm riding with Team Generic all the way, Patrick. I don't care about that.
I know you are. And there's a good chance I'm probably going to too. I don't know yet. Let's see what the trade deadline shows. But as of right now, I'm probably going with the WTFs too. So
Yeah. Well, Patrick, let's move on because we got to bring a segment back that we haven't brought back in a little bit. And that is introducing a couple of members to the STFU club. And so,
God,
so the
please tell me
first,
LeBron James is in that.
huh?
Please tell me LeBron James is in that.
Well,
I have
Patrick,
so much respect for this piece of crap racist that I don't even. But go
well,
ahead.
well, Patrick, if you read the text that I sent you earlier, you would have known who's in there. But as you're
I
looking at
probably did.
as you're looking at the
Oh
text,
yeah. Okay. Yeah. Yeah. I have slept since then. So
okay. Well, let before we get to the other person, let's talk about Aaron Rodgers. And Aaron Rodgers is on this club because last week, before the NFL draft came, there was a story that came out that said he wants out of Green Bay. Now, to me, Patrick, I think he's a crybaby. I think he's acting like a petulant child. And I think he's still upset because they drafted, remember the Packers drafted Jordan Love last year. And he was upset about that. And look, I get it. Could the Packers have taken other people? Yes. Could they have gotten a defensive lineman or two? Yes. Could they potentially gotten a receiver? Yes.
but did they?
No.
No.
And so now he's all upset. He's bent. But look, man, it's not like Jordan Love was going to come in there and take his job. Like him man was gonna sit. It's Aaron Rodgers. He's gonna play, and Aaron Rodgers played. As a matter of fact, he played to the tune of getting an MVP season.
Oh,
So,
Green Bay took Eric Stokes.
yes, yep,
Nice.
yep. They took Stokes because they needed to, and see, there you go. They needed to upgrade the cornerback position a little bit,
They
and
did, and that's a huge upgrade.
yeah, and so he went. He had an MVP season, and what happened in the playoffs was they got beat by Tampa Bay. More on that little part in a minute. But he's upset because now I guess him and the GM, they're not seeing eye to eye. And he done come out and said it's him or me. Like he's not coming back to Green Bay unless the GM gets fired, more or less. So he's acting like a real petulant child here. And then one more thing, Patrick, they made a comparison to Brett Favre and that situation that happened with Brett Favre before Aaron Rodgers took over. Well, here's the difference with that. Brett Favre actually retired. He had the Packers wanted him to come back, but he decided to retire. So when he retired, the Packers said, "Hey, we got Aaron Rodgers. He's been sitting here forever for 3 years or whatever it was. He's in there now. We're moving on with him. We wanted Favre to come back, but he decided to retire." And then all of a sudden, Favre like, "No, y'all need to be loyal to me. I need to get my starting job back." And the Packers are like, "No, dude, you retired." And that's why they traded him to the Jets. Yeah. And so that's why they traded him to the Jets. But I think Aaron Rodgers is upset more than anything else, Patrick. And you can let me know if you agree. But I think he's upset because they lost. They had everything out there in front of them in the NFC Championship game. You're there in Lambeau Field. You got all this stuff going for you. You had 3 Tom Brady interceptions that were thrown, and you did nothing with them. Aaron Rodgers lost an opportunity. And I do think if they did make it to the Super Bowl, I think they probably beat Kansas City. Now, I don't think it's a slam dunk like Tampa Bay was, as they turned out to be. But I think Green Bay probably beats Kansas City. And Aaron Rodgers has his second Super Bowl title. I say all that just to say this. If they win the Super Bowl, none of this is an issue. No, to me, none of this that we're hearing right now is being reported. Everybody would have been happy. They would have been celebrating the Super Bowl championship. It would have been Green Bay's, I think, 5th Super Bowl. that they would have won as a franchise. Everybody would have been partying up in Wisconsin. It would have been great. But since this happened and you saw what Tom Brady was able to do with Tampa Bay and he has more say so because he's taking less money than these other dudes, then that's why Aaron Rodgers is upset. So, in other words, Patrick, my man is mad and he's blaming everybody else for it when he should be looking in the mirror.
I would be 99.9% of that. I still think that Jeopardy has something to say.
He could take Jeopardy. Yep.
And that's probably what he's doing. He's like, man, it's really nice getting paid all this money. All I have to do is read from cards, and I don't get hit. It's not like Green Bay's buying me a line right now. So, boo-hoo. I want to be a Jeopardy host. That's that's the other 0.01%. Other than that, I agree with you. 99.9%. I think Jeopardy has a 0.01% reason in all that.
So about that line, Patrick, I'm glad you brought that up because I pulled some stats up and I wanted to look at the Packers offensive stats from last year because there's a notion out there that says, oh, the Packers don't have a lot around Aaron Rodgers. Well, these stats say they have plenty. Because these dudes were fifth. Yes, they were fifth in the league in total yardage per game. 32 teams in the league. 5 is pretty good.
They weren't fourth, though. They weren't top 3, so they suck.
Yeah, apparently. And
apparently. They were fifth,
yeah, they were fifth. Yep. Fifth in total yardage. And they scored more points than anybody else in the league. 509 points the Packers scored this year. 31.8 per game is what that averages out to be. I don't know. I mean, if they're scoring that much, I'm trying to find the struggle. I'm kind of struggling.
Well, let me ask you this: with total, you said they're fifth in total yardage. What were they in the past?
In the past, let me see. In the passing yardage, they were. And yeah, I'm sitting here and I'm looking at this right now as I'm talking to you. It looks like they were anywhere because these stats aren't lining up quite for me right now. Okay, here we go. They were 1, 2, 3, 4, and 8. They were ninth in passing yardage.
Okay, so that means they were probably somewhere around third or fourth in rushing.
Let's go to the rushing yardage. So they were ninth in passing, and they were
eighth in rushing.
Yes, eighth in rushing. So there you go.
So they're top 10, they're top 10 in passing and top 10 in rushing.
Yeah.
Top 5 in overall yardage.
Yep. And scored more points than anybody.
And scored more points than anybody because they were ranked first.
509 points. Okay. Looks like a good offense to me. So this notion of
I'll set my mouth because if you're putting up those kind of numbers, that's not an offensive line issue. That's a coaching issue.
And so the notion of there's not enough talent around Aaron Rodgers. Give me a break, y'all. Stop it. I mean, if you're putting up that amount of yardage and that amount of points, I get it. Aaron Rodgers is an MVP quarterback, but that's not just him. I'm sorry.
No, you have to have a line to do it, and they're ranked 9th in passing. I mean, you ask any lineman that's ever played that position, they much rather block for a rush because it's easier, it's faster, and they don't exert so much energy.
And they're the aggressors.
So if you're 9th in passing and 8th in rushing, that means you are a very, very, very balanced offense. I'll shut up. No, that ain't a line. That ain't a line issue. That is a coaching issue.
But Patrick, let's say to me, but is it really a coaching issue though? I mean, the offense is doing their thing out there, but in the
Well,
NFC Championship game, when you have three Tom Brady interceptions.
3 Tom Brady interceptions. But think about the play that's being called. If the coach is not playing, if coach is not playing aggressive on offense, I mean, then you have to look at what the playoffs are producing. We always say that's a different season. That's where the best of the best is playing, right? And if you put that defense again, if you put the Tampa Bay defense against the Green Bay offense, what was total yards? What was passing yards? What was rushing yards? Do they equivalent to 8 and 9? Because if they don't, then you have to look at not the offense. You have to look at the coach, because the coach is not producing what they produce in a regular season in the playoffs. So yes, it's a coaching issue.
Yeah, I don't know, man. I mean, I can see
But,
where you're.
no, don't get me
I
wrong.
can see where you're saying that, but
Let me finish. Don't get me wrong. I understand the players still
I
have
thought
to
you were
perform.
Patrick. I thought you were done. I'm sorry, dude.
No, I'm not done. I understand that the players still have to perform. I get that, and I understand that. But I mean, this is time and time and time again where Green Bay makes it to the playoffs and they lose. Why? Why is it that the playoffs that they're losing and in the regular season they're winning?
It could be something different, though. I mean, it's. I don't think it's that easy to where it's just like, oh well, the coaching might have messed up here or there, because I can go back to last year and it had nothing to do with the offense. That defense got ran over. So
That's true.
so
I mean,
it could be just a physical advantage, or it could be coaching. And look, I'm not saying Matt LaFleur is not to blame. That's not what I'm saying at all. But if you have those interceptions that are handed to you, hey man, you're the MVP. You got to make them pay somehow.
yeah,
You got to make that work. And I know people crush LaFleur for that. For the call where he decided to go for the field goal instead of going for it on fourth down when they were down 31-23. But
I like the golf.
yeah, I wasn't upset at them there. I don't know, man. I look for me, just in this case.
You
Hey man,
still,
I'm looking at Aaron Rodgers, man. I'm looking at Aaron Rodgers. He messed up. He messed it up.
but you still have to have two scores either way.
No, I'm talking about when they were down 28-23, because that's when Tom Brady had thrown them interceptions. So
Instead the 31-23, you weren't mad at him for making that field goal call.
no, I wasn't.
I'm not either. What I'm saying is you're down by 2 scores anyway, so you might as well.
Well, no, you wouldn't have been, because it was 31-23. If you get a touchdown and two,
Oh, yeah, so you're still down 1. But I'm not mad at that. I would still done it.
yeah, I mean, you had 3 timeouts, and I mean, I don't know, like that third down call or that third down play. I felt like Aaron Rodgers could have ran the ball in, but he decided to throw. I felt like he had some green ahead of him where he could have ran it, but he didn't. And I think that lost opportunity is driving the frustration more than anything else, to me personally, with Aaron Rodgers.
And it could be, but yeah, there's many more things that's going on in Green Bay than what's probably being reported, and you know that. And when you get a bunch of guys like that, you got 53 guys in the same locker room. Crazy stuff goes down, and you know that. So there's probably a lot of frustrations, not only on the field, but probably off the field as well. And that's what I mean by, jeopardy. Truthfully.
so let me ask you this then, Patrick. If you had to put a percentage on it, what do you think is the biggest percentage there? Is it more Aaron Rodgers being a petulant child? Yeah, look, okay, I'll put it this way. Do you think, based off of what we talked about, my man should be in the STFU club?
Oh, absolutely. But yeah, absolutely. Now, when I say that's a coaching issue, I don't mean that that's a coaching issue and that's their problem. I mean play calls is their coaching issue. They should have they need to stay aggressive.
It's a situational play calling.
Yeah, it's situational play calling. That's what I mean. Now, overall, what do I see as Green Bay's issue? I have no clue. There is so many things that could possibly be, but I would say the biggest problem that that they have, I would probably say, is probably about 55% of their problem is the fact that Aaron Rodgers is just a baby.
I mean, he is kind of he does.
And that's situational because right now, 95% of their problem right now is Aaron Rodgers being a baby. But in 3 weeks, it might be like GMs. But I think there's so many other problems in because there has got to be something that's wrong. That's the reason why when you look in Atlanta, you look at San Francisco, you look at Baltimore, you look at, and the list goes on. Every team in here, minus Kansas City. Kansas City is the only team that I think is probably the least amount of problems right now in Tampa Bay. But that's the two least ones because they're worried about playing football. They're not worried about whose baby mama is sleeping with whose boyfriend.
That's your go-to.
That's my go-to all the time. Yeah.
All right. Well, before we move on to the other member of the STFU club, if you were to pick right now, do you think Aaron Rodgers is going to retire, or will he be the starting quarterback for the Packers come the fall?
What do I think, or what do I want?
What do you think?
He's probably going to be the starting quarterback for Green Bay.
You want him to host Jeopardy?
I want him to retire. He needs to go.
Oh.
And it's not because it's not. Don't get me wrong. I do not think the man is he. It's just time. It's time for Green Bay to move on. They've had him for what, his entire career, 16, 17 years. It's time to move. It's time to move on. Go host Jeopardy. Enjoy that. Be the new Alex Trebek, and enjoy a life that does not require you to take hits, scramble, or pass for. Just enjoy it. Just go and enjoy that, and just stop, because you've had a great career. Move on. Go host Jeopardy and move on. Just let them have their team. Just go.
Good to see Bear on here.
Hey, what's up, Bear?
You sit there. You kind of caught him the next Favre. Hey, you missed it when we were talking about Favre in this context. Also, Bear, you got to pop on there a little bit sooner, but it's okay. Yeah,
this is like 45 seconds earlier.
Yeah. Well, Patrick. So, of course, the next member of the STFU club in here, it is LeBron James. And this is because I don't know how the NBA play-in system has become such a big-time target of people's grief when everybody was all about it last year when everybody was in the bubble. But here's LeBron. He gets loose, and I think this was after they lost to the Raptors the other night, Sunday night, and he was just kind of talking about him trying to get better, working his way back from the ankle injury. He had just came back from the ankle injury Friday night. I think they were playing the Sacramento Kings. What's going on, Jose? That's what's up. And so when he got hurt, he'd been out for I think about almost 2 months. He comes back on Friday. They lost. Came Sunday. They lost to the Raptors, and the Lakers are sitting like right there in that stretch. So between 5 and 7, it's like a game separating them, and there's a real opportunity the Lakers could be playing in one of these play-in games. So they're talking to LeBron about it, and he basically says whoever came up with that idea should be fired. So just like it was with Mark Cuban and Luka Doncic, they were sitting in the 7th spot, and all of a sudden here they are politicking. Oh, this is garbage. Well, Same thing here. LeBron's politicking. Oh, it's garbage. Why? Because you're about to play in this. There's a chance you might play.
Was saying something.
So I just, I'll just say this: there's a bunch of crying going on, and it's getting ridiculous. And if you don't want to play, stay in the games, play, and make sure you're not in that spot. Shoot, the Lakers beat the Nuggets the last night. LeBron sat that game out trying to rest his ankle. He's not playing Thursday or Friday, according to some of these reports. So, hey, if you were good enough to come back, you know, stay out there. I would think you would want to stay out there because the playoffs are about to start. So you have to get that timing down. You have a lot of new players on the team, but look, this is the thing with LeBron, man. There's some times where he sounds real intelligent, well spoken when it comes to a lot of these things. Of course, you're gonna say no, you don't like him anyway. So anybody you don't like, Patrick, you're gonna hate on him anyway.
Bro, I'll hate on a lot of people. Bryce Harper being one of them. I know. But LeBron James, there's not an intellectual comment that comes out of that dude's mouth. He's an absolute retard.
Really, Patrick?
I'm sorry for all the PC people out there. He's an idiot.
With every comment he said, every single one.
Every one. He might as well keep his mouth shut, and he's still an idiot.
Here's what's funny about that, Patrick. This is what I'll say to you when you have that comment. Before 2010, you did not feel that way about him. After 2010, when he decided to go to Miami, now all of a sudden he's an idiot. I know you, Patrick, because I've known you since 2006. So you didn't always feel that way.
Hey, look, when the true colors come out, that's all I need.
Okay.
That's all I need. Hey, if somebody does something stupid over and over again, they're not a genius. They're an idiot. And LeBron James is an absolute moron.
Did you feel that way before he went to Miami, though?
Yeah. When he said, I'm taking my talents to Miami, before he was in Miami, yes, he was an idiot.
That was that moment, Patrick. I'm talking about before that.
That's when the moment came out and he was an idiot. That's when he became an idiot. Yes. That is possible.
Boy. And I see Jose's comment, so that's pretty funny. Look, what I don't like more than anything else is the flopping. He flops all the time. And you're 6'8", 260. Why are you out here flopping and flailing into the fifth row of the stands? And he does always cry. Jose's got a point there too. He does cry all the time on the court.
Always complaining. He's never in play because he's got to play, complain, play, complain, play this much, and then complain this much. I can't even keep my hands in the screen. How much he complains, opposed to how much he plays, complains, plays.
Now, one thing that you have to give him credit for this, and Bear, I see your comments too. Yes, Bear, he does have 4 rings. I get that too. Yes, and that's the thing with him. It's one of those things where, all right,
an idiot gets rich sometimes.
That's a hateful comment, but that's very hateful. But hey, now you can't knock his business sense, though, Patrick. I mean, the man does have minority shares in Liverpool and in the Boston Red Sox, too. Ooh, Jose, you're in Boston, too, right? So that...
Jose, listen to me. Listen carefully. Go buy an Atlanta shirt right now. Don't have any part of that idiot. Don't give him any of your money. Go get a Braves jersey.
Jose, I love it.
Hey, he did purchase. He did purchase those rings.
Look, here's the thing. LeBron got to put that Yankees hat up. But remember, he's supposed to be a Yankees fan, and he's gonna get on a group to purchase the Red Sox.
He moved. Yeah. If you really wanted to own a baseball team, it sounds like you should have went and bought your favorite team, not the number one
The
rival of the favorite team. Oh, I love the Yankees, so I'm gonna go buy a Boston hat.
Well, look, I think what I think the main thing with that is
We're
that
gonna
same
get
group
we're
that
gonna
same
get
group owns Liverpool too, and he's on a group that does have Liverpool under them. So I don't
well.
know, and so I can understand if you want to keep the business. I love it, Jose. Well, Jose's representing for Boston. I see you. I see.
Yeah. Well, they need to boot him out of Boston. They need to get rid of that dude. He's an idiot. We're gonna get sued because I called him an idiot over 40 times in this webcast alone. He's an idiot. I'll get it
But
up.
for definitely for this comment though, yeah, he's definitely in the STFU. And so is the Kraft Foundation has business with Liverpool? Yeah, I think they do too. I think there's a lot of owner with those soccer teams. There's so many people who got their hands on those soccer teams, man. There's so much money on those, especially those in Europe. And, and I mean, there's a bunch of different fans that
Every company has something to do with a soccer team.
like
It's
I think
it's literally
literally LeBron's share is I think literally LeBron's share is like 1%. Like I mean I don't know. I don't think he has a he's on that group. And I don't know how much of a percentage he has, but I do think it's right like 5%. I'll have to do my research on that. But definitely for this comment, man, yeah, he's in the STFU club, and I'm pretty sure it won't be the last time he'll be on the STFU club.
No,
So
he's a member. He's already purchased his ass already signed checks he can't cash. So he's definitely in that one forever for life. He's a lifetime member.
oh, hey, Jose asked you a question about Paul Tuckett moving to Worcestershire. Possible name change?
Probably.
Yeah, I would think so.
Anytime yeah, I'd probably say so. Yeah. Soccer is definitely one of those sports. They don't keep anything. They're not like it's not like going from city to city and you keep the Rams or whatever and you just change the city. No, they get rid of everything, rebuild that entire name.
And the thing is, before we move on to Russell Westbrook, one more thing about LeBron. The man is
Paul Tuckett's a baseball team. Sorry. Is Paul Tuckett a baseball?
Yeah, they're the AAA affiliate for the Red
they're the
Sox.
AAA affiliate. It's my fault. I was still on soccer. My fault.
No, it's okay.
No, they don't do a name change. They keep it.
Okay, got you. Yeah, so man,
baseball is huge on keeping names. That is like baseball and hockey is probably the most traditional sports in all of history. And yeah, they'll keep the name.
yeah. Jose said, yeah, they're minor league, but yeah, they're the AAA affiliate for the Red Sox. But yeah, like one more thing before we get on Russell Westbrook. It's one of those things when it comes to a star player. They're very very polarizing, and either you don't like the person or you like the person in most cases. You know me, I be down the middle. I call a square square. If the dude is garbage, I'll call him out for being garbage. If he does his thing, he does his thing. We know LeBron in terms of talent is a generational talent, but man, do you
Generational
have to
moron.
cry every time you don't get a call, and do you have to flop to get your way? That's the thing that really upsets me. And he does a good job of getting coaches fired too. All right. So, so
Not only is he an idiot and a moron, he's an ass. Thank you for proving my point, Charles.
So yeah, it probably won't be the last time we have him in there.
No, he's a member, like all time, never getting out. He needs to delete his Twitter account and every social media account and just shut up.
So let's talk about Russell Westbrook. I wanted to get out of here before you got on a rant. But let's talk.
You better move the story along because it's about that.
So So let's talk about Russell Westbrook. And I think this is kind of an interesting topic just simply because, I mean, the man done averaged a triple double 3 years in a row. Um, Here he is now. I think yesterday playing for the Wizards, he had a triple double where he had 20, it's something stupid, 24 rebounds and 21 assists or something like that. It's something stupid.
What?
Yeah, yeah, dude. When they played Indiana yesterday, it was something like that. Yeah, you gotta look that one up. But it was something, and those numbers might be reversed. But I know 24 and 21 were the two numbers for assists and rebounds, but I don't know which category they were.
Who does
But
he play for again?
huh?
Who does he play for again?
Washington now. Yeah, the Wizards.
I'm looking it
So
up. So you do your thing. I'm looking him up right now.
so the main thing is, I mean, with the numbers he is putting up, I mean, he's approaching territory where he's about to be, oh, excuse me, he's about to be the league leader or of all time in triple doubles. He the numbers he's putting up is something where you're thinking, hey, he can go to the Hall of Fame, but people want to crush him because he doesn't have a championship right now. So I I guess the question I would have for you is how much does Russell Westbrook not having a championship, being on a team in Washington we don't necessarily think will be close to winning a title anytime soon, but how much do you think him not having a title takes away from the accomplishments he has had in terms of the triple doubles, the average in the triple doubles? He has an MVP, a league MVP. Like, how much do you take away from him that he hasn't won a championship yet?
Well, I mean, that's a good question. I really don't know because the man is doing things that has never been done before. The problem is that when you look at his overall, I want to say, he's not sharing the ball, but Jesus, 21 rebounds and 24 assists with 14 points. The dude is he is playing on another level. I mean, he really is. The fact that Washington, I mean, look, dude, in regulation they scored 154 points.
Hold on. But before you go on, Patrick, so Bear gonna leave this Hall of Fame awards on personal accomplishments, not team. Yeah, we know that, Bear.
That's what
We know
trying to discuss is if this dude is how does a championship does that take away from him being a Hall of Famer?
Yes, and
I mean,
that's the
I
thing.
think it does,
We know
but
championships are the thing that a lot of people look at when it comes to it. And I don't think it's everything. Me
yeah,
personally.
and it's one of the things that we say is scoring points is a glamour stat. We much rather see offense than we see defense. But this man is making huge statements saying that points are not everything. You got to have rebounds and you got to have assists. And this dude is averaging triple doubles for 3 years in a row and going on 4. And so I think it's hard to say if he'll get a Hall of Fame. I think he will. Will he be a first round Hall of Famer? Probably not. But I do think he does end up with a Hall of Fame, regardless if he wins a championship or not. Because, dude, when you put up stats like this is insane. He's the only person that's ever done it. What minus what was his name? Nate was it
Oscar
Nate Robinson?
Robertson.
Oscar Robinson. Oscar Robinson did it for 1 year. This dude has done it for 3. And when Oscar Robinson did it, they were only playing 62 games a season. Now they're playing 82. So, I mean, the dude is doing unspeakable and unheard of things. And do I like Russell Wilson or Jesus? Do I like Westbrook? I mean, he's not my favorite player, but the dude's making a statement. So he Yeah, I think he is. I think he gets a Hall of Fame. I don't think a ring stops him from getting a Hall of Fame because of the numbers that he's putting up. Just the sheer, 24 assists, dude. That's insane. Chris Paul is known for assists, and I don't think Chris Paul's ever gotten 24 assists in a game.
Yeah, and Jose, he left a couple of comments here. He talking about Hall of Fame is to those who drove the team to a championship, in his opinion, and that's fair. I understand where somebody would have that opinion on it, because championships they have definitely, especially recently, they have become that standard. Well, how many rings do you have? That's the first question. Whenever a player is being debated amongst the best of all time, that's the first question that's asked.
Yeah.
Oh man, how many rings do they have they won? One thing to remember about the Basketball Hall of Fame is this. The Basketball Hall of Fame isn't just based off the NBA. That is, I think, the only Hall of Fame there is, unless I'm forgetting something with tennis or wherever else, or any of the other individual sports. The other basketball, or the college career, is included in that as well. I remember when everybody was having a big deal, they were upset about Grant Hill getting into the Hall of Fame. And Grant Hill didn't have the best pro career, but because of what he did in college, winning 2 championships with Duke, you equate that to the solid NBA career he had, and he got to get in. And Jose said something about LeBron getting in the Hall of Fame. Look, LeBron's going to be a first ballot Hall of Famer. Like he is. He's going to be a first ballot guy, no questions asked. And he's probably going to go down, with all things considered, as one of the top, I'm gonna say, 3 or 4 players of all time, man. Now look, I think guys, and Jose will probably agree with me at this, seeing where he is in Boston. Bill Russell, this man won 11 rings, but you don't hear him in the conversation of greatest of all time too many times.
I was actually fixing to bring that up, because if you really want to compare it to rings, Bill Russell is the best player to ever play the game of basketball in history of life, in the universe, of all times, of every day, of every year. You know what I'm saying? Because he has so many rings, but he's not brought into the conversation because of Michael Jordan, LeBron James, Kevin Durant, which, rightfully so. They're great players, but let's be.
Magic Johnson.
Magic Johnson is another one. Bar, and that list goes on and on. But the thing is they're not brought up because they're not Michael Jordan. You know what I mean? And then everybody's like, well, LeBron James is the best player to ever play because he has 4 rings, and blah blah blah. And then everybody's like, well, Michael Jordan won 6. And I keep thinking the same thing as you just said. I was like, well, Bill Russell won 11.
Yep.
Sorry.
Defensive anchor. You're all right. One of the best defensive players ever, like in any sport. Bill Russell was a stopper on defense.
Get it? More blocks than anybody in his entire career, and nobody's ever going to match that. So if you really want to compare it rings to rings, Bill Russell is the best player to ever play the game, but nobody brings him up. So, that's the reason why I kind of try to I'm going to have to go get some water, dude.
Yeah, we're about to wrap up here in a little bit, man. So hang in there with me, Patrick.
But let me finish my one statement, and then I'll be done.
You're done.
But if that's the reason why I try my best not to compare rings, because that's not what the NBA Hall of Fame is really looking at. Because yes, rings drive that and help drive that home, but Westbrook is doing things that's unheard of in the NBA, and he's doing that against solid competition. So I think he may not be a first round, but he's definitely probably a second or third. But I do think he gets in the Hall of Fame. Okay, done.
I'm glad that you were able to get through the coughing spell to get that out. So
It ain't done yet.
well, with that, I mean, I agree with you, man. I mean, Russell Westbrook, he'll get in there, and I mean, he's had let's see, he's been to one NBA Finals. Yes, yeah, one NBA Finals appearance. That was back in 2012, when you had him and Kevin Durant and James Harden together with the Oklahoma City Thunder. They got beat by the Heat with LeBron, D Wade, and Chris Bosh. But yeah, I agree with you, man. I mean, I think he'll be in there, and rings can't be, in my eyes, the rings can't be the know all, tell all. I mean, there are some great players who have done some great things on the court, on the field, on baseball. They deserve to get in there, into the Hall of Fame, I think. I know rings are a big deal, but I mean, I look at it like, I mean, you look at some of these people who have rings just based off of the teams they were on, and they ain't better players than them, but they got rings. So,
No, you get a ring because you sit on the bench as the 11th man.
right. I mean, shoot, JaVale McGee got a ring. So he got two. No, he might have three.
He has 3.
Yeah. So
what does that say?
I get it.
McGee got just almost as many as LeBron. I'm just saying.
Yeah. So
and LeBron worked his butt off for it. He's sitting got a stimulus check.
On that note, we're leaving. No more rants. Nope. We're wrapping it up, Patrick. We're out.
Stimulus check.
We're out. Thank you guys for tuning in to the Breath of Fresh Air webcast on YouTube and Facebook. Make sure you go to the Breath of Fresh Air the Breath of Fresh Air YouTube channel. Smash that subscribe button. You're killing me, Patrick. And make sure you keep the likes coming on the Breath of Fresh Air Facebook page. Are you doing a shorty this week? Get them for free. Whatever. Are you doing a shorty this week?
I'm going to do it on just that right there.
What?
You got a stimulus check.
Oh God. Okay. So y'all take it easy. Hey, Jose, take it easy, man. And yeah, and before you go, man, I did see the comment that you left about Hill. That is true. He did a lot of stuff for the community. I can't talk anymore. And also, he's about to be the president of USA Basketball, I think, too. So Grant Hill, he about to do some things with USA Basketball if he's going to be or the guy, I guess, who's picking out the talent, taking the place of Jerry Colangelo, who was doing so good with that. Ooh, excuse me. But Patrick, so since you say you got a shorty coming up this week, we look forward to that. And other than that, hey, everybody take care. Thanks for everybody who tuned in and participated. We will talk to you soon.
Stimulus check.